Welcome to the third video of Section 4, which is entitled Registering Our Ghouls, Goblins, and Vampires. In our last video, we learned how to move our hard-coded user data into a MySQL database and hash password data using the YII security component. In this video, we are going to take advantage of the fact that our user data is now stored in a database and create a registration page so new monsters can sign up for our dating site. In creating this page, we'll learn about some more features of YII, including custom URL rules, model validators, and active form. Since you're already an expert with YII, we went ahead and took the liberty of generating CRUD code for our new monster model and placed it in the code samples for this video. If you think for a moment about what a registration page does, you'll quickly realize that it is used to create new users, which makes the create action of our new monster controller a prime candidate to use as a base for this feature. However, it might be nice if our monsters could access the page using a simpler URL, such as register. In order to do that, we simply need to add a little code to the URL manager component. Open up config web.php and scroll down to the URL manager component, and add a new section called rules, with an array as a value. This property of the URL manager component allows you to define custom routes in your application. So let's go ahead and tell our application that requests for register should be routed to monster/create. Head on back to the browser and try to load our new URL, and you'll see that you're indeed brought to the monster create page. Keep in mind that YII will check all incoming requests against these custom rules before routing your browser to its defaults, so having too many rules can negatively impact performance. Next up, let's try to add some rational validations on our registration page. For instance, we probably don't want to allow a monster to select a username that is already taken. The unique validator is exactly what we need in this case. Now, try to steal Dracula's username, and you'll see that YII thwarts our attempts. The next thing we might want to do is enforce a 6-character minimum on our password field. In order to do this, we pass the min option to the string validator. Again, if we try to use a short password, YII will inform us that our model is not valid. Finally, we know we want gender to be either M or F, so we can use the built-in range validator. The syntax is a little counterintuitive, but the filter is called in, while the option that you pass it is called range. It takes an array of accepted values. Try one more time to enter invalid data, and you'll see that YII won't let us write bad values to our database. Now, it's probably pretty obvious that our registration page could use a little work. The code for this page is located in views, monster, create.php. We'll take a second to change the page title, which in turn changes our h1 tag. However, the form code is located in a partial view, because it is actually shared by both our create and update actions. So go ahead and open that up, and let's clean up our form a little bit. The first thing that you'll notice is that all form fields are generated using YII's active form component. It's responsible for generating form fields, populating them with data where applicable, and even formatting and displaying validation errors. The auth key attribute is only needed to meet requirements of the identity interface and will never be directly edited, so let's just delete that line. The next thing we'll do is change one of the form labels to clarify what data we're looking for. By default, YII labels each form field by capitalizing the column name that it edits. If we wanted to change name to full name without changing the column name in the database, we can simply head over to our model class and edit the appropriate line in the attribute labels method. Reload the form, and you'll see that the label has changed appropriately. Another thing that can be really annoying about forms is not knowing a field's requirement before you submit and receive an error message. For instance, how is Medusa supposed to know that our password has a 6-character minimum? In order to generate these fields, the active form component uses the field method, which in turn returns an instance of the active field class. Active field has a hint method, which you can use to add instructions to your form fields. Let's go ahead and let everyone know that our password field has a 6-character minimum. You've probably also noticed that all of the fields are currently text inputs. However, our gender field would really work better as a drop-down, as there are only two valid options. Luckily, Active Field has a drop-down list method, which takes an array of value option pairs as a parameter. Taking another look at our form reveals that our efforts have been rewarded. We can even go a step further and provide a default option. Most of the Active Field methods used to generate form fields take the options array as a second parameter, which can be used to set CSS class and ID, HTML attributes, and more. The drop-down list takes a parameter called prompt, which allows you to set a default option for your drop-down list. Let's wrap up this video by registering our first monster. We're a little heavy on male monsters at the moment, so let's try to even things out a bit. Press Submit, and you'll see that our monster is saved to our application. A quick check at the database will verify our success. In this video, we learned about custom URL rules, validators, and ActiveForm, and put them all together in order to create a registration page for our application. In the next video, we will learn how to restrict access to controller actions using the access control filter.